Well, I'm Chris, and here we are in Akeley, Minnesota. Jenny and I made our way up here to spend the night in an RV. It's Airbnb, just outside the main town area. Got to take a look at the grounds before it got dark, and it's on, looks like a couple of acres of really pristine northern woodlands. All the comforts of home here, gas stove, sink. Nice fold-out bed there. It's about a 25-foot trailer tucked into the woods. And we've arrived at our almost the end of our journey here to pick up our Scamp in the town of Backus, about 23 miles south of where we are now. We'll be doing that tomorrow morning. But to get us up to this point, we left LA on Thursday, made our way up through Nevada, crossed briefly through Arizona, made our way into Utah, and stayed the night in St. George. Had a full couple of days of driving that took us up through Utah, Provo, some of the towns we went through up in there. Went to Devil's Tower in Wyoming and got a good look at it, and made our way west through South Dakota. Spent the night in a Victorian built in 1903, a bed and breakfast there in the great little town of Rawlins, Wyoming. Our host was quite gracious, set us up in the gold room, and got to meet her dog, her black lab, and got some great photos. Really beautifully restored Victorian grand piano in the entryway. And was able to get up and make our way out a little bit further east to the towns of, let's see, we made our way through Dickinson, South Dakota, and then crossed into North Dakota, got into the town of Jamestown, which is the birthplace of the Western writer Louis L'Amour. I've read many of his books, and some of them have been actually made into movies. He was quite prolific, was able to produce, I think, over like 107 titles. My dad had discovered quite a treasure trove of novels that he wrote about the West, and introduced my brother and I to them many decades ago. But in Mr. L'Amour's writing, he often referred to North Dakota, to his birthplace. After that, got a good look at the largest buffalo in the world. It's a statue right there in the town of Jamestown, and got to even make our way further east into the northern part of Minnesota here, where we were greeted by none other than Paul Bunyan as we entered the town of Akeley. And got a chance to experience a little bit of the grandeur of the northern woods. On Thursday, June 9th, 2022, we took off from LA into Minnesota and covered all in all about 2,000 miles in 4 days. So, you know, averaging about 500 miles a day. It's doable. The key is to get a good night's rest, and the various places along the way. You should be able to find lodging in Airbnb. From time to time you can pick up a room, a reasonable room, a modest room, and other places that you might want to keep in mind, different attractions along the way in places like get a chance to break the trip up a little bit with various sightseeing. You want to keep in mind in the summer you can expect pretty high temperatures as you make your way up through Arizona, Utah, South Dakota, and then it cools off quite a bit as you get up at about 70 degrees afternoon, and cools down to mid-60s at night. So this being our fourth day on the road, we're about halfway through the trip, but still have many miles ahead. And as I mentioned, picking up the Scamp tomorrow. We'll give you an update in the next couple of days.